Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel, to which I really don't know what I'm doing, but I managed to figure out how to run YouTube. So what I wanted to try to do is I'm going to create a video and maybe break it up into 2 or 3 different segments, and mostly this channel and YouTube is going to be about me, my experience and diagnosis with Lyme disease, and kind of walk you through my entire process. I'm also going to be videoing and uploading things on YouTube for my trip to Germany, to which I've decided how I'm going to be treating my Lyme, and I'll get to that at a much later time. But I wanted to start off by just introducing myself. There's a lot of people out there that know me, and I'm basically doing this video for a lot of my friends and family. They have a lot of questions surrounding what Lyme is, how you get Lyme. I think there's maybe a lot of people that don't believe it, or just think you can just treat it with antibiotics, or it's a virus and it will just kind of go away type of thing. I don't think a lot of people really know the devastation that comes with Lyme disease. And so I'm here to share a little bit about my experience and hopefully bring you along in my journey so that you understand, those that are watching and are or interested will know my experience and the things that I've been going through in the last 5 years. So let me start off by saying I'm a mom and wife of 3 children, 15, 13, and 11. I've been married since 2002, so that's 17 years that my husband and I have been married. And in that time frame, I've been sick for about 5 years, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. Who's counting, right? I want to give you a little bit of history, so I'm just going to go all the way back to the back and bring everybody forward into where I'm at. So, and again, going to try to put these into 3 different kind of videos to share. So my journey first started with my mother being diagnosed with cancer, and she actually lives in Texas at the moment and has decided to retire there. In 2013 or 14, can't remember, she was diagnosed with what we originally thought was pancreatic cancer. It ended up not being pancreatic cancer. Ended up being ampullary cancer, but the way in which they treat that cancer is much in the same. So we were in good hands. Mom was obviously living in Texas and was treated at Baylor University, where she underwent I think 5 out of the 6 chemo sessions, and it was in that time where my body and my immune system started to tank. Prior to me going and deciding to help my mom and kind of quit everything that I was doing here to go and help my mom, fly back and forth to Utah, or from Utah to Texas, I was working out really avidly. I was super athletic. I am really super athletic. I love sports, and I had really gotten into weight training. And I was working with a trainer who was doing my nutrition and training, and I had thought right before going down there that I think that I wanted to compete. That was going to kind of be my next step. At that point in time, I was 35, 37? I don't know. No idea. I can't do the math. So anyways, so yeah, I was working out. I was eating really well. I was eating wheat and dairy and you name it, watching my macros and working out 5 days a week, and just loved it. Love weight training. Still do. And so I found myself when I was down in Dallas, towards the end. So I was trading off with my sister for every 4 weeks. I would go down and help my mom out. And what a lot of people would probably think is, maybe not that hard, which I didn't think in the beginning that it was going to be that hard. I just thought, I'd go down there, I'd take her to doctor appointments, I'd stay, and then I'd come home. And, what can be so anxiety ridden or stressful about that? But apparently, there were a lot of different dynamics inside of caring for a loved one. and all sorts of family dynamics that surrounded that environment. And inside that environment was super not healthy for me. And a lot of people, which will remain unnamed, that caused some major stressors in my life. And obviously not my mom. But, you know, if you go back and you think about these things, I mean, you have to do it, right? I mean, it's not, you don't think twice about something like this. I don't regret going down there and taking care of my mom, but it was in that last year of taking care of, or actually in that last month, I started to notice, last 2 months, I started to notice my weight training was kind of getting a little bit harder. I wasn't losing weight. I was having to do more cardio. I was pretty lean at that point. I was probably 16 to 17% body fat. I probably weighed between 140, 150 pounds, and I'm 5'8"-ish. And I was feeling really good. Just had a nice lean body. I was working out, still working out when I was with my mom. I shipped food down there and vanilla shakes and all sorts of different things so that I would make sure that I was hitting my macros. And what I started noticing was, first and foremost, I wasn't sleeping. So there was a point in time when my mom got on some food and she was hooked up, and I had to kind of hooked up to her belly to feed and to get nutrition into her. Long story short, there were weeks at a time where I wasn't sleeping, and not sleeping for, you know, it'd be 2 or 3 hours, then I'd wake up, and then 2 or 3 hours, then I'd wake up. And I would do that for 4 weeks at a time, and then I'd fly home, I'd come here, kind of zonk out, and go back after 4 weeks. My other sister would stay there, and then I would kind of go back. So we were trading every other month, basically for an entire year. And it was at the end of that where I started noticing problems with my weight. I started noticing it was kind of getting a little bit harder to weight train. I wasn't having a lot of the same reactions to working out. I started noticing I was binging on different foods. Just a lot of things started happening. And then towards the very, very end, I started having what they call myoclonic jerks. Myoclonic jerks are, if you imagine you're the most tired you've ever been, exhausted, and you just need to sleep. You've been up all night, or you've had a really, really super long shift that was 16 hours instead of 8, whatever. That was me. And I was at the point of that 4 weeks getting ready to go home, and I started having these myoclonic jerks when I would try to fall asleep. So tired and so exhausted, and then I would shut my eyes and start to fall off to sleep, and then my hands would jerk, or my legs would jerk. It would wake me up, and then 10 seconds later I'd try to fall back asleep, and the minute I would get into that mode, that REM, the beginning of it, I would jerk myself awake again. I was trying melatonin, I was trying so many different things to try to sleep, and it just wasn't working. At that point in time, that was kind of the start of the end for me. I came home and I was not recognizable. I just was really, really fatigued. Couldn't get out of bed. I just felt like a walking zombie. I was so tired. It's not even explainable on the scale of, you know, how bad it was. I just remember always feeling like when I would get up that, oh my God, I just slept like 10 hours and I feel like I slept 4. So again, like I said, that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. And that was back in early 2014. I came back, and that's kind of where my story began back here in Utah. And so I'm going to break apart these videos, like I said. So this will probably be, I'm wrapping up this video and trying to keep each video between 10 and 12 minutes. And so that's kind of where the story began for me, and why I got to the place that I'm at now was because everything was going on like it was supposed to. My immune system was working, my central nervous system was working, I felt great, I was working out, and then just all this anxiety and stress just came to a crashing end, and lots of things started happening after this that I'll get into in my next video. but I just wanted to bring you along for the ride and make some proper introductions and to start my story of Lyme disease and how I, again, got to where I'm at right now and where I will be going to be treated for Lyme disease and how I got to that decision. So I hope you're ready for the next couple of videos and come along on my journey into defeating Lyme disease. So thanks for watching, and I'll be posting another video shortly.